In recent years, American universities have seen a significant shift in international student enrollment. Influenced by changes in national policy and global perceptions, once, prestigious institutions like Harvard thrived on the diversity and talent that international students brought to their campuses. However, shifting immigration policies and evolving political climates are prompting students to reconsider their options, turning instead to universities in Canada, Europe, and Australia. This trend could reshape the global landscape of higher education for years to come. Now a dig on the Trump administration's threat to block Harvard from enrolling international students would remove more than a quarter of the university's student body, a share large enough to rock its campus and, potentially, its tuition revenue. The move, frozen within 24 hours on Friday by a federal judge, also highlights the risk other universities face from an administration that has shown deep hostility toward higher education. NYU, Johns Hopkins, Columbia, and Carnegie Mellon have even larger international student shares than Harvard does. This metric that once reflected their international renown and financial strength now looks like a vulnerability. Schools with the most international students, as a share of full-time undergrad and grad, students in fall 2023 school students. Peacekeep International Illinois Tech, 6th, 571, 51%. Carnegie Mellon, 14,517, 44%. Stevens Tech, 7th, 461, 42%. Northeastern, 29th, 738, 40%. New School, 8th, 725, 40%. Columbia, 28,756, 40%. Johns Hopkins, 16,030, 39%. NYU, 49,847, 37%. Clark, 3, 830, 34%. Rochester, 10, 109, 33%. Caltech, 2, 463, 32%. Chicago, 16,499, 31%. Boston, U, 29,104, 30%. MIT, 11,706, 30%. Harvard, 20th, 807, 28%. USC, 41,648, 28%. Wash U, 14th, Q82, 28%. PN, 23, 948, 27%. Brandeis, 4,873, 27%. Rice, 7,972, 26%. Cornell, 25th, 3 to 34, 26%. Duke, 16th, 557, 25%. Stanford, 17th, student 12, 24%. St. Louis, 12th, 904, 24%. Princeton, 8,849, 24%. Yale, 14th, 854, 24%. Northwestern, 19,451, 24%. Illinois, 47th, 118, 23%. J. Tech, 25, 178, 23%. UT, Dallas, 25,108, Ike 23%. NJ, IKT, 10, 388, 23%. Mount Holyoke, 2,206, 22%. Dartmouth, 6,678, 21%. Georgetown, 15, 453, 20%. UMBC, 11th, 523, 20%. Brown to 10th, 832, 19%. Case Western, 11th, 143, 19%. Grinnell, Mason, 707, 19%. Emory, 13,565, 18%. UCSD, 40,716, 18%. Washington, 43, 118, 18%. Bentley, 4,690, 17%. Fran and Marshall, 1,902, 17%. Berkeley, 41,572, 17%. Denison, 2,391, 17%. GW, 18,049, 17%. Michigan, 48,167, 17%. UC, Irvine, 35,511, 16%. Tufts, 11,953, 16%. UC, Davis, 38,184, 15%. Shows fall enrollment of full-time students at selective four-year colleges and universities that offer bachelor's degrees and above, with at least 1,000 students. Source: National Center for Education Statistics, Carnegie Classification. These are the U.S. universities most dependent on international students. The New York Times. The share of international students studying at these colleges and across the United States has been growing for the past 2 decades, as rising incomes in countries like China and India have produced more families looking to educate their children in America. Domestic forces have played a role too. Public research universities in particular have turned to international students who commonly pay full price for tuition to help compensate for declines in state funding for education. We have all this debate about trade deficits with China right now, said Gaurav Khanna, an economist at the University of California, San Diego, who has studied these shifts in higher education. That's a deficit in goods. But when you think of services, like higher ed services, we have a big surplus. Share of students who are international